Are you guys happy still? You still happy? Are things going well for you in terms of She-Hulk? The online community has a lot of opinions about this show. That's perfect. I think this episode in particular, episode 7 of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, might be the single best thing this show has done. I say that every week as it's getting better, but this was so cool. Things I like is like, this is the most comic accurate episode I think of the show yet. This is the most comic booky of the show, where it's like, we don't have to explain things to you. Characters are built to be a punchline. Don't expect the world to shift. Nothing matters. Nothing makes sense. It's just fun, silly stuff. Also, Daredevil's not in it. And I'm starting to think that's the best part of the show. So people will be like, oh, they teased Daredevil like 3 weeks ago. Like, who cares? This isn't his show. He's got one coming out with 18 episodes because you assholes will not leave them alone until they do it. So here we go. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, episode 7. Fun episode, man. This is the whole crux of the episode. This is the thing they were getting to. This is the main meat and the bulk of the thing that I love. Most of this episode is Jen pining for Joshua. They have a couple of good dates. Things are going well for them. A beautiful montage at the beginning. She's having fun in her relationship. Everything's going well. And then, well, they sleep together. Yeah. Now, the thing is, they refer to it as making love and sharing a bed and, like, staying the night. And they never say the word sex, which I'm like, why not? If you just say it, we'll all know what's going on. But yeah, they sleep together. And then the next morning when Jen wakes up, Josh is gone. And he sends her, and she sends him a text. And he doesn't respond for a couple days. She's getting really worried. All the while, Nikki's like, Intelligentsia is scaring me about you. Which we'll come back to that in a minute. Before she can really get on with her life. Well, Blonsky's little, anklet goes off. It's like, oh, he might have turned into the Abomination. We have to go check it out. So she goes with the parole officer. They head down to, what was it called? Summer Twilights, I think, is the name of the resort that Blonsky built. You'd think at first, oh, it's a weird cult thing, but you don't see his, 7 mistresses that he's been in, love with. Instead, you see, a very COVID-friendly area where people are just walking about. It's just so much, I don't know, maybe because, I'm a Tim Roth fan. It's like Bergman Island, where it's just we're watching Tim Roth with his sleeves rolled up, just walking, hands in pockets, in a nice villa and just having a good time. And I'm like, this is awesome. This is the best part of the show. It's just great. Because look, I don't care what anybody says. I was kind of there too, where I'm like, just make a big hulking guy smashy smashy. That's what I want to see, Abomination, just boom bop ba boo ba. But then I'm like, do I care that much? They haven't done anything good of Hulk in a while, so I don't think I care if Abomination comes back or not. So do this. I don't care. Maybe there's going to be something happen, and the Green Door is going to fuck everybody up, or they're going to go back to their old evil ways. But until then, I'm fine with this. Because you get some silly shit, and I love silly shit. You get 2 big things happening in this episode. 1, we get introduced to random characters that are interspersed in the Marvel Universe who are nothing nobodies, and they're here seeking therapeutical help in the yurt. They're hurting for a yurtin in terms of what Blonsky can do for them. So let's run down these new characters we meet in terms of names I remember and names I don't. Man-Bull. Awesome. Why not? Who cares if he's here or not? That's awesome. El Aguila. It's Spanish for the eagle. And I love that they have a codependent relationship where hey, you're what do you call those guys? Matador. You're just like a matador and the bull's chasing you, and they have a weird relationship where in the actual meeting, you see that Blonsky's you guys should switch seats so you're not next to each other. Great fun. 2 characters. I don't care if anybody says they love them. You'd make them the joke because there's nothing else you could really do. Same with, what's the guy's name that thinks he's a vampire? Yeah, that's funny. That's a really good joke. And Porcupine, which is just a big guy in a big dumb costume, which is awesome. It's awesome. You don't have anything else to say. You sold it with just having those people show up. It's funny, and they go to group, and you see that maybe Jen is so obsessed with getting this text from Josh that she's not paying attention to her life. and it leads to some great fun. You know? I'm really digging that. I'm really digging what they're doing there. One of the things I love is that monologue she gives where she finally opens up to the group. Because this is the crux of the show. This is what it's about. The monologue she gives where she's talking about, like, you know how you have, like, that one friend in high school who was more popular and the guys always talked to her more. She was more athletic and beautiful. Well, that's She-Hulk. And every guy I've talked to, every person in my life is just so obsessed with her. And I don't think that anybody wants to just see me as Jen. No, because it's true. No one in the show so far, aside from Nikki and Pug, and I guess Mallory to some extent, have really been interested in Jen. But Mallory, I guess, isn't really that too. You know, the people at the wedding, the people at her office, the villains she helps, the people she fights, the guys she's dated, they've all wanted She-Hulk. No one's wanted Jen. And Tatiana gives a great performance just doing that, because I am 100% earnest that is not an element a male writer comes up with. Men could explore that, but it wouldn't feel as authentic. It just feels less than what it should be. So that is really cool. And you just see this, because this is a trope you see in sitcoms. You see it sometimes. It's like, you know, you're talking to an older person on a park bench. Sometimes you're talking to like a mascot at a children's party, or you're talking to the children, or you're in like a group of weird people. You're talking to a clown or somebody in the mafia. You've seen this trope in a million other sitcoms where the person is finally being open to these complete strangers, and the complete strangers are giving you the advice to feel comfortable in yourself. That is what's happening here. It's like, well, you're surrounded by a bunch of guys who would really like to see Jen, really want to see Jen be happy, and it helps her revert back to Jen, and she's able to open up about herself, and they feel connected, and then she gets hurting for a yurtin'. They have a nice moment. I loved that so much. It's not a cute little story to play with. Not over the top, not excessive, just a nice quiet thing where Jen could be like, I like She-Hulk, but she is not just who I am. I'm Jen. I could still be Jen. I don't want this thing to overtake me. And these weird, crazy dudes in their dumb costumes out for blood and bull faces help her find that out. I think that's really nice. And it's not overtly sexual. It's not overtly angry. It's just a woman coming to terms with these guys she feels aren't a threat. That's kind of fun. That's really fun. I like that. The Wrecker returns. He gets a previously on because Jen's like, this guy tried to kill me. Again, I'm a fan of the Wrecking Crew. I have all the action figures. I like the Wrecking Crew. You're not going to be doing anything fun with them, so sure, he can be rehabilitated too. Go to the spa, get his eared on. It's good. I like this. It's a quiet episode. It was a necessary episode. If you're still not on board, you're not going to be for the last two. But this is what we needed. Just to step back, let Jen experience her problems, not focus so much on Josh, because, as I'm sure some of us have predicted, sadly, the sad truth is, it sucks, but Joshua is intelligentsia, probably, and he's working for a guy called Hulk King. Which you're like, don't be the leader, please. Be some douche. You know? Just some lazy son of a bitch. I don't know. It's also just leading up to the fact when she does meet Matt, well, he's going to be the best guy in the world because he's going to like her for her and not try to sleep with She-Hulk or get into the bed of Jen. It's like, yeah, so this guy manipulated Jen and then took all of her, like, I guess, identity or whatever. That's all the information from her phone. What a piece of shit. This show hates men, and it rightfully should. The men that are good are the rehabilitated villains in their stupid costumes talking to Blonsky, who is just Tim Roth having a spout of fun in a nice little villa somewhere. That's what this whole is. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll buy that. You let Tatiana act her ass off in a moment. You have her obsess over a guy. A Marvel character has sex off screen, but close enough on screen where she's in a towel in the first scene. I'm like, bro, we're getting some good shit. Next week, we got this End Werewolf by Night, so how can I complain about what that's doing? This is just a She-Hulk comic book come to life. I have no issues with it in the slightest. So, that is going to do it for this review of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Hurting for a yurtin', aren't you? I know I am. Good luck.